What is up, Giants fans? It is your boy Jay Dimes, and we are back at it with another New York Giants video. Back at it with another New York Giants mega. Now, if you have not done so yet, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure that subscribe button on the channel if you love Giants content. Now let's hop right into this one. So in this video, I will be doing my record prediction for the New York Giants in 2022. I've already seen some other Giants fans record prediction. I see some where they had the Giants winning 4 games. I seen one where I seen the Giants winning 12 games. Shout out to Fitz Vegas. But in this video, I'm gonna do my record predictions. And to start it off, week 1, the Giants are headed to Tennessee. Rest of the Tennessee Titans to Derrick Henry. I'm gonna have the New York Giants losing that game, starting off the season 0-1. We know the Giants have not won a week 1 game since 2016 versus Dallas. I'm gonna have that streak continuing. The Giants start off versus, I wouldn't say a team that they can't beat in Tennessee, but I feel like this is a game where Derrick Henry just proves why he's the best running back in football. We already know what he was before that injury. I feel like that's just one of those games where Derrick Henry goes out there, probably runs for almost 200 yards out the gate. I feel like those is one of those, one of those key games for Derrick Henry when we're looking at this season versus the Giants. Week 1 comes out guns a-blazing. Week 2, the New York Giants in their home opener versus the Carolina Panthers. I'm gonna have the New York Giants winning that game in week 2, starting at 1-1 in their first 2 games. Now, I feel like Carolina is in a predicament where they don't know who actually is going to be their quarterback this year, and I feel like that's something that the Giants, when we're talking about week 2, is going to help them. If it's Sam Darnold, we saw what happened last year when the Giants defense faced Sam Darnold. They made him look silly. They were able to win that game in a great defensive performance. Now, if Matt Corral starts, quarterback out of Ole Miss, who they drafted, he's a rookie. He's going to be a rookie, probably playing in his second NFL game. I feel like Wink Martindale takes advantage of that, and he makes him struggle if he does play in week 2. I'm going to have the Giants beating the Carolina Panthers in week 2 in their home opener. Next, we got the Dallas Cowboys at home on Monday Night Football. I'm going to have Dallas winning that game. The Giants never won on Monday Night Football. I do not remember the last time we won on Monday Night Football. I feel like Dallas still has some pretty good playmakers. And yes, the offensive line it's gotten worse. So I don't think this game will be a blowout at all. I feel like this is going to be a hard-fought game for the Giants in week 3 versus Dallas. But I'm gonna have Dallas taking the game at home. Well, on the way in MetLife versus the Giants. The Giants start off 1-2 in their first 3 games. Next, we are staying home. Got a 3 home game stretch. 3 home game stretch from week 2 to week 4. We're facing Chicago. Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears are coming to our place. I'm gonna have the Giants beating the Chicago Bears. Now, last year when the Giants faced Chicago Bears, we had Matt Glenn playing. Matt Glenn was the quarterback last time we faced Chicago. I'm gonna have the Giants beating them. I feel like the Bears do have a quarterback in Justin Fields. But again, I don't think they have the proper weaponry around Justin Fields to, him have that amazing second-year season. I just don't believe that. The offensive line still is kind of shaky. They lost Charles Leno in free agency. They lost Allen Robinson in free agency. David Montgomery, who is a great running back last year, did not have the best year, dealt with injuries. I just don't think they have the weapons for him. Outside of Darnell Mooney, you look at the weapons on that offense, it's kind of lackluster there. So I'm going to have the Giants beating the Chicago Bears in week 4. Then, we're heading to London, and we're facing Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to have the Packers winning that game. I would love to get a dub, overseas in London. But I feel like that's just a game that Aaron Rodgers is the deciding factor. One team has Aaron Rodgers, the other team doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It could be a game where it's close and Aaron Rodgers, makes something happen on that last drive, one of those type of games, or it's just a blowout. I think the Green Bay is still a Super Bowl contending team with Aaron Rodgers alone. They did lose Devontae Adams. So maybe that could, play a part in the Giants possibly winning this game. But one team has Aaron Rodgers, the other team doesn't. That's how I think it's going to come down in week 5 in England. I'm going to have the Giants losing that game versus Green Bay. Then we have Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens at home in week 6. I'm going to have the Giants losing that game. I'm going to have the Giants going on a 2-game losing streak. One team has Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is just a playmaker, man. And I feel like that's one thing that the Giants, we struggle with the scrambling quarterbacks. We struggle with them, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Lamar Jackson, after that last year, I feel like he's ready to play. He's ready to play for that contract. I feel like this is one of those years where Lamar Jackson shows why the Ravens should have been paid him a long damn time ago, and he's going to show why he should probably be the highest paid quarterback in all of football. I'm going to have the Giants losing that game in Week 6 at home versus the Baltimore Ravens. But then, the Giants in Week 7 are on the road heading to Jacksonville, Duval. I'm going to have the Giants beating the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 7. I'm going to have the Giants beating the Jaguars in Week 7. Now, they did go out and they spent a lot of money. They do have the first overall draft pick of the 2021 NFL Draft on their team in Trevor Lawrence. But again, I just don't think the Jaguars are a team that's ready to play for the playoffs. I don't believe that. They did go out and spend a lot of money, but Christian Kirk, in my opinion, is not a number one wide receiver. He does not shock fear into my heart. Brandon Sheriff, they did go out and got him. They went and got Fulsai Oluwukan. They went out and drafted Trayvon Walker. They got Devin Lloyd. They have some pieces, yes, but I feel like the Giants are still a better team than the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to have the Giants beating the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 7. Week 8, the Giants are heading to Seattle. They're heading to Seattle versus the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to have the Giants winning that game. I feel like the Seattle Seahawks, I feel like they're just a depleted roster right now. I feel like they're a very depleted roster. They lack a lot of defensive playmakers outside of Jamal Adams, who again last year is coming off a bad season. They lost Bobby Wagner. They traded Russell Wilson. It's going to be Drew Lock versus Daniel Jones. That's going to be a fun matchup. Drew Lock versus Daniel Jones, the battle of the 2019 NFL draft picks. I feel like the Giants win that game, though. I feel like the Giants have a talented roster over the Seattle Seahawks. And I feel like it's a game that the Giants pull out. And we're heading to the bye week. So, through the bye week, the Giants are at 4-4. I'll have the Giants at 4-4 at 500 heading to the bye week. And in my opinion, if you look at these next 3 games, that is a perfect spot to be in if you are the New York Giants. If you're 4-4 heading to the bye week, look at the next 3 games. We're going to head right into it. The Giants off the bye week in Week 10 are at home versus the Houston Texans. I feel like this is a win. I feel like that is a winnable game for the New York Giants. At the end of the day, the Giants have more playmakers than the Houston Texans, in my opinion. I feel like the Texans still lack defensive playmakers to make Daniel Jones turn that football over. I feel like that's what teams are going to want to do all year round. Let's get after the quarterback. Let's get after Daniel Jones. The Texans don't really have that number 1 pass rusher. They don't really have that, that locked out cornerback. They did draft Derek Stingley, but, he's a rookie cornerback. He could easily have a rocky rookie season. That could easily happen. So I'm going to have the Giants beating the Houston Texans. Right now they're at 5-4. Next, Week 11, we're still at home. The Detroit Lions and the Giants are going to face off in MetLife. I have the Giants winning that game. They're on a 4-game win streak right now. 4-game win streak. I feel like the Detroit Lions, again, they have some players. They do have some players. I love Dan Campbell as a coach. I feel like he's going to have these boys ready. But at the end of the day, I still do feel like the Giants should be able to beat a team like the Detroit Lions. And Kenny Galladay going against his former team. Could that be a game where Kenny Galladay just goes off? I really that's going against a former team. Could he go off possibly? I'm gonna have the Giants beating the Detroit Lions in Week 11. Then it's Thanksgiving. We're away. We're heading to Jerry World on Thanksgiving. We're facing the Dallas Cowboys in Week 12. Could be a very, very important NFC East game. I'm gonna have the Giants winning that game. I'm gonna have the Giants head on to a 5-game win streak from Week 7 to Week 12. 5-game win streak. I have the Giants beating the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving. I watch the Dallas Cowboys play on Thanksgiving every single year, and they find a way to lose games on Thanksgiving. You watched it. They found a way to lose last year versus the Raiders. You saw that played out. A couple years ago, they lost to the Bills. It was a mollywop. I feel like that is a game where on prime time, the Giants walk into Jerry World and take a dub on Thanksgiving. I would love for that to happen. I'm eating turkey. The Giants beat the Cowboys. Perfect Thanksgiving. All right, next. Week 13. The New York Giants are going to face off with the Washington Commanders for the first time of this NFL season. I'm going to have the Giants lose that game. I'm not about to have the Giants go on a whole tear where they just win the rest of the games. I'm not going to do nothing like that. I try to keep it as realistic as possible. I'm going to have the Giants lose versus the Commanders in Week 13. It is a home game. I feel feel like this is a game where Carson Wentz, you know how he plays versus the Giants. You know how Carson Wentz plays versus the Giants. I'm gonna have him just, get back into his old Philadelphia Eagle bag, and he's able to take a game from the Giants in Week 13. Then we got the Eagles, again, for the first time of the NFL season. Week 14, home game versus the Eagles. I'm gonna have the Eagles win that game. The Giants, after being on a 5-game win streak, are now on a 2-game losing streak. And I feel like the Eagles, they have a very good roster. They do have a very good roster. They just traded for A.J. Brown. They just drafted Jordan Davis. I feel like this could possibly be a game where Saquon struggles. Saquon kind of struggles to get a feel. Then we had to win the game when Daniel Jones is back. I feel like this game that the Eagles take a game from us. All right, next we are facing the Commanders. Away game, Week 15. I'm gonna have the New York Giants win that game. I do not think the Commanders are gonna sweep us. I don't. Last year they shouldn't even swept us last year. God damn it, they shouldn't. We should have won that game on Thursday Night Football last year. We should have won it. I don't think the Giants are gonna get swept by the Commanders this year. So I'm gonna have the Giants win that game. Week 15. We know how Daniel Jones plays versus the Commanders. We know how he goes crazy. He gets in his bag. He turns into real Danny Dimes when he faces the Commanders. So I'm gonna have the Giants win that game. Week 16, a Saturday game versus the Minnesota Vikings. I'm gonna have the Giants lose that game. Justin Jefferson. Remember, we don't have a number 1 corner. We got Adoree Jackson. At this point, maybe this is the point in the year where we just, Adoree Jackson's probably hurt. I don't want to say it. I don't want to jinx it, but we already know how that goes. I'm gonna have the Giants lose that game versus Minnesota. Week 17, we got the Indianapolis Colts. I'm gonna have the Giants lose that game also. So, right now the Giants are 8-8. Heading into Week 18, the last game of the year, the Giants are 8-8. Could possibly be a playoff determining game on the road. Week 18 versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm gonna have the Giants win that game. I don't know if maybe I'm just too excited for Kayvon Thibodeau. Maybe, because I do believe Daniel Jones this year has the best chance to succeed as he's ever had his whole career. I'm gonna have the Giants beat the Eagles Week 18. I feel like this is a game where Jalen Hurts throws a couple picks. We saw what the Giants were able to do last year versus Jalen Hurts. They were able to make him struggle. Even in the game where we got blown out, Jalen Hurts struggled in that game. He was not on the money early on in that game until Jake Fromm got in, and then we already knew the game was over. Then the defense started playing weird, and yes, the Giants go 9-8. Now, the question is that good enough to make it to the playoffs? That I cannot answer in this video. I can't answer that question. 9-8 to me is a successful season. I feel like depending on what Daniel Jones does, a 9-8 season, a 500, season for Daniel Jones on his resume, depending on what he does statistically, might just get him, a second chance with the New York Giants. But if the Giants were to walk into 2022 and finish 9-8, you can't be upset. That is a great way to start off your head coaching career, Brian Daboll. Depending on what Daniel Jones does, that might be, the season where he proved himself to be the franchise quarterback of the New York Giants. And maybe I'm too high. I know some people might say I'm too high, but depending on, Week 18, the Eagles might have a winning record. They might be benching some guys, and the Giants are able to steal a game. That could easily happen. A lot of people are high on the Eagles. Depending on how the season goes, that might be a game where they're sitting A.J. Brown, they're sitting Miles Sanders, they're sitting Devontae Smith, and the Giants are just able to win that game, finish out with a 500 or better record, and the Giants finish 9-8 in 2022. Leave your comments down below what you think. Maybe I'm too high on this team, but let me know. What's your thoughts? 9-8 record for me for the New York Giants in 2022. Leave your record predictions down below. Let's talk about it. It's going to be very interesting. I can't wait. I'm excited to see what these guys do. I'm excited to see for Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm excited for Evan Neal. I'm excited to see if Daniel Jones proves he's the franchise quarterback of the New York Giants. But until then, it's been your boy Jay Dimes. I am out. You guys stay safe. And as always, go Giants.